If you're the mom of a middle schooler and your tween is being bullied or struggling with anxiety and your mama's heart wants to help, you see your tween feeling like there is no hope. They are believing not even God can help them. That's exactly what David faced in Psalm 3. And in this video, I'm going to show you the one decision he made that silenced all the voices and the simple daily shift you can teach your tween to do before they even get out of bed. Because a child decides who defines them, determines the anxiety that will loosen and will lift. Does this sound familiar with your child? They go to school little by little. The voices around them start shaping who they are. Someone says something cruel. A friend shuts them out. The comment sticks, and soon your tween begins believing lies like, I'm not enough. I don't matter. No one cares about me. You see this happening. You see the anxiety. You see them withdrawing, and you hear the uncertainty in their voice. Middle school is a season where identity is forming, and sometimes the voices around them start sounding louder than the truth of God. But here's the deeper spiritual issue. Anxiety often begins with a belief. The belief that there is no hope, no help, no protection. That's exactly what David faced in Psalm 3. Verse 2, it says the people around him were saying there's no help for him, even in God. Imagine hearing that everywhere you turn. Not even God can help you. That you are beyond rescue. That kind of voice produces deep hopelessness. It traps the mind. It drains the courage. It paralyzes the heart. But David did something powerful. Instead of letting those voices control his mind, he anchored himself in the truth about what God said. And in this video, I'm going to show you 3 things David declared in Psalm 3 that defeated all the voices, and one simple shift you can teach your tween to practice every day before they even get out of bed. It will anchor them in who God really is. And before I continue, I'm Ann, your faith mom mentor. For more than 3 decades, I've been teaching kids in my local church and helping families learn to know God deeply and guide them to know Him personally. In Psalm 3, the first thing David did was decide whose voice would rule his mind. Verse 2 says that people were saying all those mean things. There's no help for him, even in God. David was surrounded by voices criticizing him, attacking him, predicting his downfall. In many ways, he was surrounded by bullies, but David refused to let the voices become his authority. Instead, he declared, "But you, Lord." That one word, "but," changed everything. It was a decision, a turning point. David refused to let the crowd define his future. He chose to let God's voice rule his mind. Whoever you listen to becomes your master. If this message is helping you already, please hit the like button. Just take a moment, hit that for moms who are trying to help their teen through anxiety and pressure and would find this information encouraging. Think about the middle school. Your tween hears voices constantly. Friends, social media, classmates. Sometimes those voices say things like, "You're weird. You don't belong. You're not enough." And if your child listens to those voices long enough, those words start becoming beliefs. That's when anxiety begins to grow, because the mind begins operating under the authority of the wrong voice. So the first question your tween must answer is this: who is my master? Who has authority to define who I am? Will I allow people or God to define me? David made his decision. He said, I will listen to the Lord. And that decision changed everything. Stay with me, because at the end, I'm going to show you one decision your tween can make every morning before they even get out of bed that will stop all these voices from shutting your tween down and paralyzing their courage. The next thing David did was declare something powerful about God. Psalm 3, verse 3 says, but you, Lord, are a shield around me. A shield is a protection. A shield absorbs the attack. David understood something important. The battle was real. The enemies were real, but God stood between him and the attack. God was his shield, his refuge, his protection. Think about a child being bullied. You see, sometimes the most painful part isn't the words. It's the feeling that no one is protecting them, that they are all alone. But David refused to believe that lie. He declared, God surrounds me. God was not distant. God was not unaware. God was standing between David and the enemy. And your tween needs to know this truth. They are not walking into school alone. God surrounds them. God sees every word spoken. God sees every moment of pressure, and he stands as your tween's shield and protector. When a child knows that God surrounds them, fear begins to lose its grip. And stay with me, because at the end, I'll point you to the next series in this Psalm series. You can continue helping your tween learn how to know God personally and grow in their own faith. The third thing I'd like to point out in Psalm 3 is that David continues in verse 3, you are my glory and the lifter of my head. God was David's glory. This means God defined David's worth. God determined David's identity, and God was the lifter of his head. When shame pushes your head down, God lifts it back up. When fear weighs you down, God restores courage. When voices label you, God reminds you who you truly are. When a child is bullied, you often see it physically. Their head drops, their shoulders slump. They feel so small, ashamed. But David says God did something different. God lifts your head. He restores dignity. He restores courage. God restores identity. This is one of the most powerful truths you can teach your tween. Your identity does not come from classmates, from popularity, from performance, from social media. Your tween identity comes from God, who created you. And when a child understands the truth, the voices around them lose their authority. And if you walk through this with your own child, leave a comment below. Your story could encourage another faith mom who is facing anxiety or bullying in her child's life, wanting to see God bring transformation. So here's what this means for you, faith mom. When the voices around your tween say, you're not enough, you don't matter, even God cannot help you. Psalm 3 reminds us these voices are not new. David heard them too. But David defeated these voices by anchoring his mind in who God is. He declared, "The Lord is my master. The Lord is the one I follow. The Lord is my shield. He is my protector. The Lord is my glory, the one who defines me. The Lord is the lifter up of my head, the one who restores my courage." Before David faced the battle, before he faced the enemies, before David faced the voices, he turned his heart toward the Lord. So here is a decision you can teach your tween to make before they even get out of bed every morning. Teach them to pray, to turn their heart toward God. This is an example of what you could teach your tween to say and to pray. "Lord, today you are my master. I will listen to your voice. Today you are my shield. You surround me, God. You are my glory, God. You define who I am. And you, God, are the lifter up of my head. You give me courage today." This one simple decision anchors their mind in the truth. Instead of letting the voices define them, they let God define them first. And when that happens, anxiety begins to lose its grip because the mind is anchored in the truth. The battle is even won before it begins. This week, try this with your tween. Before school, before the rush of the day, take 30 seconds. Read Psalm chapter 3, verse 3. Then ask one question: who gets to define you today? People, your classmates, or God? Then pray together. Simple daily habits build strong faith. The more time you spend cultivating these daily habits, the more faith you will build in your tween. And if you want encouragement like this regularly, subscribe to this channel so you can get more information coming to you to help you learn to know God deeply and teach your tween faithfully. You will also want to continue watching the next video in the Psalm series. I've connected it here at the end. The Word of God helps to relieve anxiety, fear, and uncertainty, because when your child learns to hear the voice of God, all the other voices become less significant, and the voice of God gives them confidence. And it is my pleasure to be your faith mom mentor.